And hello again, folks. A wee bit of Wu Chi, John Jong, which I'll talk about when I come to. But the looking at the meditative qualities of your practice, okay? So that's what this section is going to be about. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Wu Chi posture. Very simple one to do. So rather than waffle here, I'll go back there and we'll get it started. Okay, Wu Chi doesn't really have a literal translation in English, but for the purposes of what we're doing, stillness, emptiness. The idea in Wu Chi is you start to look at the meditative quality of Tai Chi, which when you get through the whole instructional thing with movement is there all the time anyhow. So it's not much of a challenge to be in the moment when you're moving, when your mind's occupied with that. It's when you're being still. Okay, so if we're just looking at this basic Wu Chi posture here, the standing one. So as you can see, the feet are shoulder width parallel. The knees aren't locked, they're not bent, just natural. The hands are where they naturally fall, the shoulders and chest relaxed. Okay, so if you think of like you're balancing something on your head, the chin's just very slightly pulled in. Okay, and all we're doing here is just relaxing down into the ground. So when the eyes close, they close lightly, so there's no tension around about the forehead or the eyes. The teeth are held lightly together at your natural bite, and the tip of the tongue touching the palate where it meets the front teeth. Okay? So in Wu Chi, once you're in this position of just standing with the eyes closed, you then bring your attention to the breath. The breathing is slowly in and out through the nose. Don't force that too much, just slow your breath down a bit. As time goes on, the breath can get slower. And then you bring your attention to the breath. This is important. Number of ways of doing this. If you're sitting somewhere quiet, listening, standing somewhere quiet even, listening to the breathing, counting the breaths into yourself, saying into yourself, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. And the idea throughout the exercise is just to focus on the breath. Okay, so you just do that as long as it's comfortable. Okay, if you find you're getting a wee bit tired or agitated, just come out of it, shake out the arms and legs a wee bit. You can go back into it again if you want. Okay, but the idea is we're just trying to keep the mind focused on the most basic thing that's happening, which is our breathing, in and out through the nose, as I say, and just keep it simple. Okay, the mind will wander, it does that, this is what happens, but just keep bringing it back to the breathing. Now Wu Chi can be done standing like this, it can be done sitting down, it can be done lying down. The idea is you're just keeping your focus on the breath and relaxing. It's as simple as that, for as long as you want. John Jong, some of you will be familiar with. In a lot of my shorter classes I will do a wee bit of Wu Chi, maybe not do John Jong. So if this is an introduction for you to it, give it a try. Okay? So John Jong is another posture for standing still. Only this time we're doing a wee bit more conditioning work. Okay? So just to show you the posture, knees bent, the arms around it, as if you're holding the ball against your chest. Okay? And this is it, basically. So let's just go through the elements of that. Okay? So for the purposes of going through the different elements, I'm just going to turn this way. Okay, so the feet are shoulder width and parallel. So first we'll talk about sitting down into the posture. Okay, so it's not just bending the knees like this. Okay, yes, the knees bend. The knees will not go beyond your toe line. Okay, so you shouldn't be way down like this. Just comfortably bent. Okay, so as I'm going down, I'm tucking two places. One that some of you may be familiar with is the coccyx, the very bottom of the back here. It It's as if you're tucking your tail between your legs. So when you go down, the coccyx tucks in. Now there can be a tendency when people do that of tucking the coccyx in to tilt the pelvis, that to push the whole pelvis forward, which means you're sort of standing like this. Not very comfortable if you're standing here for a while. So while you tuck the coccyx in like this, you also tuck in here. So the pelvis actually tilts. Okay? The head, again, is if you're balancing something on it. So with the coccyx tucked in and tucking in here and the head upright, the back just elongates very, very slightly. It's what would be referred to as the string of pearls. So the back's falling naturally straight. So once you're in that position, then you bring the hands up. Now it's as if you're holding something against the chest. So the arms are rounded. Fingertips aren't pointing towards each other. They're slightly directed forward. A wee bit like your ward off. Okay? And then imagine also if you're holding that ball against the chest, imagine another one between there and the ground that you're actually resting your arms on. So basically the shoulders are sunk, the chest is relaxed, and again you'll bring your attention to the breath. Okay? So just to get back into this position here. So as you can see, rather than standing like this, which is really hard to do, after a while your shoulders will start burning. The idea is just to sink everything. Just letting everything sink down as if all the tension is dropping through you into the ground. Okay? And we hold that for as long as it's comfortable. Now you will find that if you're not used to this exercise, the tension might come into the legs, might come into the arms, you know. You try and settle into it, but if it becomes too much, shake out a wee bit, you know. Nothing wrong with that, just when you're learning it. But otherwise, we just stay down here, just relaxing. You know, you can stay here for a few minutes. Time yourself, a couple of minutes up, a couple of minutes down, because we're going to do a second position. Okay, so the second position, the hands just come down and face in to what we call the lower dantian, which is just below the navel in at the centre of the body. Now again, you're not, when the hands come down, the elbows aren't coming in like this, they're staying out in front. So the hands are coming down basically the way they are. Elbows stand out in front of the body, like this. And in the two positions of Jianzhong, just a wee bit like the Wu Chi, you're breathing slowly in and out through the nose. Okay, and think of that breath each time, going right down into the dantian. This encourages deeper breathing. Okay, so again, standing here for a while. The eyes are open, as you can see. You're not staring. You're just keeping them relaxed, just looking ahead of yourself, focusing on the breath. And then when you want to come out of it, you basically just, you'll be familiar with this when you do the Wu Chi. The hands cover the centre, you bring the feet together, and you just stand for a wee moment of stillness. And if you're not doing anything else afterwards, then it's just shaking out the arms and the legs a wee bit. Okay, so that'll do it for the Jianzhong for now. Okay, hello again folks. As I was saying in one of the other videos, I'd like to talk a wee bit about meditation and maybe encourage you to do a wee bit of sitting on a daily basis. There's meditative aspects already, as you know, with the Wu Chi, with the Jianzhong that I've just showed you, with the form. But this is on another level. And when they talk about stress, it starts up here, okay? And the idea when we're meditating is that we're trying to control that in some way and trying to find a place within ourselves that's quiet. It's within everyone. We've got a centre that's very still, and it's about trying to connect with that centre. So you will find thoughts coming into the head. It's natural. It's what happens. It's about the ability to just note that they come in and then let go of them again. So a very basic form of meditation that you already do in your Tai Chi is maybe just focusing on the breath. So sitting somewhere comfortable, not necessarily like this. You could be sitting on a chair, just somewhere you're aware of your posture, you're sitting nice and upright, again as if you're balancing something on your head. So for the most basic form, the eyes closed or just looking down towards the ground and breathing in and out through the nose. Okay? Just sitting there with that. You will find that after a while the mind starts to wander. That's not unique. It happens with everyone. It can sometimes take a long time to have that where you're controlling the thoughts and they're not controlling you. But don't be hard on yourself. Don't judge yourself. It'll happen. Bring your mind back to the breath again. That's all you do. Just sitting, quiet, still. If you're new to it, if you haven't done it before, do it in small bursts. Do a couple of minutes at a time. Just try it out, see how you feel. They say that, they say there's not many different ways of looking at things, but it's generally said that around about 15-20 minutes. 20 minutes is a good practice. Now obviously people will do it for shorter, longer, but to say in terms of stilling the mind, of getting yourself into the zone a bit, it can take that amount of time. But as I say, experiment with it. Try not to set yourself goals. Just do it and just see what it feels like. The idea is that we're just connecting with something that's bigger than ourselves. That is ourselves basically. And shutting out the noise. It's there waiting for you. Life is there waiting for you anyhow. You have to go about your daily business. You have to do what you have to do. But getting this idea and getting this practice into your life of just having the ability to stop now and again, and that's what it's about. Now, as I may have said before, I'm not necessarily qualified as a meditation teacher. I know I do my own, and that's all I'm trying to impart here. There are other people listening to this who are probably a lot more qualified than me, and fair play to you. I hope to get there myself one day, but take it in small steps. And the idea is not to be hard on yourself, but to try. And I read an interesting thing about practice, maybe like in the morning time. It's like having breakfast or brushing your teeth. It becomes a wee part of the routine, and if you can build that in a few times a day, you'll start to feel how it makes you, you'll start to see how it makes you feel. You'll feel the difference, and the idea is to be able to approach situations with a calmer mind than we normally have. So, plenty of time in our hands at this time. Maybe you don't, but a lot of us do. So it's a good time to delve into stuff like this and just see how it works for you. So, enjoy.